What Mark proposes, the artistic project that he has created, is, as he says, an assault on our perceptual system, shaking us into the realization of others' pain, an idea that we can wage peace through compassion. And I find this marvelous and moving and a way of awakening and to doing something about what is happening to our fellow people and our world. His initial entry to teaching art came through psychology, because what he taught was a subject called creative dreaming. You could collaborate with your dreams and look for images in your dreams and incorporate your subconscious into the creative process. He would say that what would completely transform him would be when he encountered a quote by Gauguin. And what Gauguin said, "I am not an impressionist. I am a synthesist. I juxtapose shape and color to evoke an emotional response." That hit Mark very strongly. He said, a door flew open for a life of experimentation. Violent brushstroke is not the same as a violent act. As a matter of fact, art, whether it is painting or doing sculpture or acting, you can unleash the inner violence. You can let it all go. And for Mark Strickland, a breakthrough came with the use of Chinese ink techniques that allowed him to suddenly let go of all this pent-up despair, this pent-up anger, and to transform it into an artistic form of expression. So with these weapons, with these tools, he would embark into the first series that gave him a level of recognition, his Subway series. He was particularly sensitive to the New York scene and to look at all these half-remembered faces, senseless words, graffiti, thoughts passing in the train at top speed, things that half seen, half remembered. But right when he was selling and succeeding, he decides to go back to the human expression, to the human condition. And for the next 23 years, he would focus on painting human beings, of revealing the human emotion. But he does so with a liberated brush, a brush that is informed by excellent technical control, but that is free. Art's like dance that he paints so well. I find that Mark Strickland's murals are extraordinary. The mural works as a work of art. It's beautiful because the colors are beautiful and the combinations are beautiful. And it can be read in many ways. Well, one of my favorites is The Choice. And the choice deals with the problem of gang violence. And so, how do you paint this? How do you recreate it without being sanctimonious, without being preachy, without looking at things from a moralistic viewpoint? How do you confront something as complex as this? Because it's deeply rooted in poverty and injustice, and it's so complex, the issue. And so here it presents simply the choices that young people have. And you see the drug dealer, you see the pusher, you see the dogs, the violence that is real and symbolized. But you also see the hope, and you see the violin and the piano, and all together. Mark Strickland has never shied away from any problem. And he addresses the issue of immigration, of who is and what does it mean to be an American. And he goes back to the words of Emma Lazarus, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Send these homeless, tempt those to me. I lift my lamp besides the golden door." And the ideas of Mark Strickland have also to do with families. And how do we deal with a new society? This is a mural called Broken Angels. And you see in the bottom, the old patriarchal belief system. And you see a mother pulling her son. But then you see the father, the father that is also lifting a daughter and carrying a wounded one. So you see the involvement of the parents in the elevation of their kids. And then at the end you see the broken angel, which going to Mount Ararat in the hands of God. And it is said that those broken angels, those that have survived trauma and have transcended hatred and have transcended violence, are the peacemakers, those that are able to bring peace and compassion to others. Perhaps the most important mural series that Mark has created is his series on the Holocaust. His vision of the Holocaust is very timely, especially now when we see the rise of anti-Semitism all over the world. And the remembrance of the horrors of the death camps. In British Petroleum, Strickland refers to this as another form of genocide, a man's war against wildlife and the planet itself. When doing this mural, he had these dreams where he saw all these animals, like these herds of animals, crushing into an explosive gas, like falling, and falling. Because of all this experimentation with dreams and creative dreaming, Mark Strickland is an artist that can actually look into his dream for answers, who has foreseen many of his paintings in his dreams, who can think of his dreams as a way to obtain solutions to art, which I find fantastic. And in one of these dreams, he came up with the idea of the flying fish. And he connected the flying fish to humanity, trying to come out, to do a breakthrough from the water to the air. This mural could also become a manifesto for Strickland's philosophy. The belief that humanity is a flying fish underwater that sometimes breaks through to the surface of unconsciousness and flies. This is the intrinsic sense of well-being. We all feel when we do something right. When humanity follows its bliss, it will find itself blessed and guided by the goodness towards the light.